Welcome, Annie Collins here for Rosie Studios Creative Club. Today we're going to create this holiday card. Let's go over the products I used to create this card. I used the Oh Joyful Day 6x6 pad. This pad has 40 sheets, 20 designs, and 6 of them are foiled, and that's gold foil, and you'll find gold foil throughout this collection. This is a quick thumb through of this. I have previous videos where I go really in detail over each of the pages in this. We're going to use that green one there, which is tone on tone check. We're going to use the ephemera pack from Oh Joyful Day. You get 140 pieces, 2 of each. We're going to be using the houses and some Christmas trees from this. So they have a great variety of ephemera in this pack. From the All Wrapped Up collection, we're going to use the sentiment stamp set here, and we're going to use the Peace, Love, Joy sentiment. From Rosie Studios Mini Dies, I pulled out this cute little tiny house, and we're going to use that to create a little house to go with our card. So I'm going to move everything out of our way so we can get started. Let me go over the pieces that I already have cut and ready for us. So the house, well, first let me see if I can get this all out of my tray. So the house I've die cut twice, one from the tealy color and one from the pink color, and those are pattern papers from the pad that were left over from other projects. And I went ahead and backed the little teal house with white cardstock, because we're going to inlay all the little pink pieces into that little mint colored house. So here are some of the other pieces of our card. I'm just going to go over them quickly with you. Here are the 2 Christmas type tree or pine trees, and they have little foiled stars on the top. I'm not sure if my camera's picking that up. Right, there we go. And then I have some snowbanks that I cut from white cardstock using dies from my stash. One will stamp our sentiment on, and one is for the background. And then we have this little row houses back here, which are decorated and have little bits of foil throughout as well. And that's going to be for our background. And here's the green, tone on tone green. It's like a check or a plaid that we're going to use for our background. Yes, we're going to have a green sky, but it's going to invoke a night sky. And I trimmed it down so it's a 1/4 inch smaller all the way around. And then of course my card base. All right, I'm going to set all that to the side, and we're going to start with our sentiment. So I need to get everything out of my way really quickly so I can bring in my stamping platform. So the sentiment we'll be using, once again, will be the Peace, Love, Joy. And it's a pretty scripty sentiment. We're going to stamp it on this snowbank, which is the smaller of the 2, so that we can place that towards the front. So I will bring in my stamping platform, and we're jumping into making the card. So I have a sticky mat in my stamping platform. I'm going to remove the sticky mat cover, and then I'm going to use the grid lines to line up my little snowbank. Make sure I have the correct side, and then I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I'll be using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. It's perfect for sentiment because it's a nice crisp ink for fine details. So I'm trying to line it up, make sure that I'm lined up here. I'm going to scooch it over to make sure that it's better lined up for me. I'm using all the grid lines on this sticky mat to help me line things up. So I'm going to make sure that the word love is in the center, and once I know it is and it's straight, I'll close my stamping platform, ink up my stamp, and stamp it. I'm going to stamp this twice. I like a nice dark sentiment, and yes, Onyx Black ink is a nice dark ink, but it's best to do it twice. And as you can see, I'm not pushing hard. I'm using my fingertips just to push. This is a fine detail sentiment, and we want to keep that crisp detail. I'm going to set that aside to dry, and I'm going to put the cover back on my sticky mat and clear my stamping platform. Yes, I'll clean my stamp off screen in a little bit. So next we're going to move on to our little house. Like I said, I die cut this twice, once from this green pattern paper, and then once from the pink pattern paper. The green is like, it's got little floral type things on it, and the other one, the pink one, has tiny little stars that have the colors that you'll find throughout this collection. So now I'm using Baerly Art Glue with just putting a little dot in each of the open sections, and then I'll use my what is this thing called? The wand. I can't think of it right now. To put all the little pieces in. I'm just going to take my time, fill them in, and this will give us a tone on tone, a two-tone style house. Now all our windows will be pink, sort of like the curtains are all pink, the pink heart, and then the little doorway. So I'm almost done. It goes pretty quick. You know, just the hardest part is one, flipping over the pieces apparently, and making sure you don't lose any of those little tiny pieces. And then all the green pieces I save, because I still have the little pink house, that I'll do the same thing but for another card. So you get a twofer out of this die cut method. So I'm going to go ahead and finish putting in these last little pieces. And then there's a tiny thin outline, as you can see there. Well, my hand is over it, right there on the mat. That tiny thin outline will go around the door. So I'm almost done looking for the last pink pieces to make sure they go in there. And I'm using both sides now of my wand, the pickup part and the little pokey part, because to move these little pieces is easier to use the wand. So, and this I believe is the last window, and then we're going to maneuver that little thin piece that I mentioned. There it is. So I'm going to hold this really quick. I'm going to put the adhesive, and I'm barely putting any in there because too much will just go everywhere. So I'm going to pick up this piece and try to get it into that little ledge. And that just gives you the outline of the doors, letting you know that the door is just ajar. All right, all our pieces are in, and now we can build our card. So there's a close-up of the little house. This little house die is so cute. They have a great variety of mini dies, Rosie Studios, and their website. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in the rest of the components of our card. This is our card base, making sure I have it where it opens correctly. Going to use some Baerly Art Glue to adhere our background pattern paper. And just a little bit of this green is going to show, and it's going to invoke, as you'll see, a night sky. I know the night sky is dark blue, but still, this gives you that festive holiday feel as well. So this is how I'm going to get this to go. I'm going to make sure I have enough. Don't want to put that white snowbank too high, because I have the front one that has to go and overlap it. And then I'm going to tuck my houses, the die cut, just behind this snowbank. And this, me pointing out again that this has the little foil details on there. Press that all into place, making sure everybody's lined up. And now I can start by adhering the bottom snowbank, doing the same thing, making sure I don't press it all the way down until I have everything tucked in. I'm basically pressing the corners into place and leaving the top. This is going to be a almost flat card. There's no foam adhesive on anything, except I'm going to put some little snowflakes here, clay snowflakes, which will give you some dimension. So I'm going to get my house there, and now the last little tree. And I'm tucking a little bit of the trees just behind the front house. Just a little tips of them. Add a little more adhesive to make sure everybody stays down. And this, you can call it done here, but I'm gonna bring in, like I said, some clay snowflakes. So I'll put a couple across the sky and a couple near the sentiment. So I'm putting all my little glue dots, and then I'll just pick those up and put them in place. And I didn't realize I was a little bit off the monitor here, so I'm so sorry about that. But the ones I put was one to the left and to the right of the sentiment. You'll see here once I bring it up. There you go. And now my card is complete. Super quick, super easy. The most it took was to do the inlay on the little house, but you can do that, throughout the week. Just cut one and cut the other and then just put it together. So again, we used the all wrapped up sentiment stamps. This is from a different collection. From the Oh Joyful Day collection, we use the ephemera pack, and you get 140, two of each. And we use the Oh Joyful Day pattern paper 6x6 pad. This has 40 sheets, 20 designs, and 6 are foiled. We use the mini die, which is the mini house die. This collection comes in 6x6 and 12x12. You can purchase it directly through Rosie Studios, who I'll have linked below, but you can also find it in scrapbook.com. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you found some inspiration. Here's another look at the card.